What are you collecting now? I know you spent a good amount of time. Well, you got rid of a lot of things, and you were driving a truck in Colorado for a long
Yeah,
time. But
yeah.
you're
I
you,
kind of got out of the car thing for a while I was in Colorado. Although
but you're restocking.
I built a hot rod A4 while I was out in Colorado with a big turbo and a MTM stage two tune on it. That was kind of fun. But now I'm in Nashville, and when I moved to Nashville, I didn't realize that Nashville has a really healthy car culture. And I started meeting all these guys who were collectors, and I kind of just got back into it. Bought an Alpha Spider, which is always one of my favorite cars, and it started there. And of course, I had the Emery car, and I have an MGA twin cam, a '59 twin cam, which is a really rare car, and this is a national concours winner. It's won numerous events around the country, and that's a fun car. It's my one of my wife's favorite cars because she likes to go slow with the top down. So it's great. And then I just bought Ray Shaffer's 964 Turbo. I don't know if Ray told you, which
Yes,
is,
indeed. Yeah,
you
he
know,
did.
that's his baby. That was his.
It is his baby. Yeah, exactly. It's your baby now.
Well, what happened was, and here again, I had always admired that car because, I knew Ray had really, he just loved that car. And I'd seen it, many times at Amelia Island and various other places. And I was out in Indianapolis last year to do a concert in Indianapolis, and there was a big Porsche event at the track, at the 500 track.
Hmm.
And Ray Shaffer had a Porsche Classic display going on, and I had an afternoon off, so I took a ride to the track, went to see Ray. I walked into the Porsche Classic tent. We talked for a bit. And he goes, "Hey, I want to show you something." And he took me over and showed me these 944 race cars, spec cars. And he said, "I really want to go racing." He goes, "Because I'd love to get one of these cars and race." But I'd probably have to sell my turbo. I said, "Oh, really?"
Before we get back to this interview, I want to say that this episode is brought to you by Connected by Reynolds and Reynolds. If you want to hear great conversations and Greg Ulan going deep with guests on everything from used car acquisitions to finding your niche and selling to it, I recommend adding Connected to your podcast rotation. Now let's get back to my interview.
And I said, "What are you going to do with it?" He goes, "Well, I'm thinking, I've been talking about putting it up in the auction and all that stuff." And he goes, "There's one guy who's kind of interested." And I said, "Well, if you really decide you're going to sell it, please call me because I could make it a lot easier for you than an auction." That's what happened. He decided to go racing and buy that car. I bought the 964 Turbo, and it is, if you've seen it, it's a very special car.
It's a very special car. He talked about it being a very special car on this program. Yeah.
And I to be honest with you, I know a lot about Porsches, but I didn't really know the real subtleties of how interesting the 964 model was. To me, it's the first step Porsche to become a modern car. It has things like ABS, it has airbags, it has it's kind of like an in-between car. After the G bodies, this was kind of, okay, we're going to step into the future here. It's an interesting car. It still has the 930 turbo engine, but with a lot of refinements. And since I had a 930, I kind of expected it to drive like that, and it actually doesn't. It's much more refined. They tweaked something in the turbo, in the electronics, that makes the turbo a lot less like an on and off switch, which with 930 was kind of pretty dramatic. It was either nothing or something, and that something was pretty big.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
but the 964 was much more refined. The turbo comes on very smoothly. It's just a great car. And it's the last of the hand-built Porsches. After that, they went to a much more automated production system.
Manufacturing system. Yeah.
Hand welded, hand seam welded,
Mhm.
hand built. So really, there's a lot of interesting features on that car, and I'm really enjoying driving it.